Having a cultivated sense of injustice is an intellectual endeavor. And in a complex society, it's not that easy. It's easy if someone pushes someone walking across the street with a limp and throws them down. That's pretty easy to render the verdict on that one.
That there is a stigma associated with vindicating your rights. The reason we've gotten there is that insurers and corporate defendants, the rich and the powerful who seek to impose their will on the rest of our society, have been able to convince us that seeking to redress your rights is an exercise in greed. Well, they're wrong.
Historically, tort law has been the weapon of the weak, the disadvantaged, the injured.
Then we've got to repeat that resounding answer that goes down the centuries. Yes, we are our brother's keeper. That is the beginning of the moral foundation of tort law.
The steam comes out at 212 degrees. It burns you in nothing flat. But here are 3 designs, and he just sketched them out, just as simply as that. He said, to lower the temperature drastically. And when we got to trial, we learned that in the threat of enormous punitive damages, which we'd requested, they changed the design.
One of the features of tort law is its ability to adapt itself to new challenges.
As I've seen as a trial lawyer and as I've seen as a trial judge, American tort law is truly democracy in action.
Nowadays, America is waking up. Nowadays, America sees automakers and corporate executives as I have learned them to be.
Every person I interviewed to serve as a juror didn't want to be there. And every juror who served on a case I tried thought it was one of the most worthwhile, meaningful experiences of their life.
So particularly the big guys, not just one industry, they hate to be held liable. They hate a measly customer being able to sue them on a level playing field, which is where you find yourself most of the time in the courts.
Using the civil trial, that greatest engine of truth ever devised, to reach through and see the causes and origins of harm, where they're deeply buried inside complex and large organizations.
It wasn't the legislature. It wasn't the executive branch. They were cowed by the tobacco industry and all its money and politics. But again and again, failing, finally succeeding, trial lawyers broke through. They spilled out the ugly guts of Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds. One plaintiff lawyer with one plaintiff can put forces into motion to make us all safer.
So without the help of Mr. Silver, the tort law, it would not be possible for our family to still be together as one, and me being able to take care of my children and focusing on them and making sure that my husband have the care that he deserves.
When you get up in the morning, when the car you drive, your vehicle for transportation, when the gas you put in your car, when all of those things function, you can thank the tort system. You can thank the tort system. It's all around you. It's every part of you. It's what you eat, it's what you wear, it's the airplane you fly in, it's the road you drive in, it's the car that you're in. And in that sense, it becomes part of this national treasure.
Get hold of these numbers. There are 850 million visits to American museums per year, more attendance than all of the sporting events and theme parks combined.
The question that needs to be asked is, why does the United States need a tort museum? And ask yourselves that question. I mean, it's very easy to talk about how great it's going to be, but why do we need it? We need it because there's so much misinformation and so much history that has been corrupted and misstated that we have to have a place, a repository, where the truth can be preserved and the truth can be told.
It's been a long road. Sometimes it's been steep, sometimes it's been rocky, but the end of the road is just on the other side of this building, and it's a wonderful feeling to see this idea that came into being more than 15 years ago, a reality.
Before I came here, I thought torts were French pastry.
I really had no concept of what tort law was.
At first, I thought it was just about people wanting to be greedy.
So my hope is that we will see this museum as part of the vanguard of moving our society forward, educating the public as to their stake in the justice system.
I think it's protecting people from the wrongdoing of big companies and the companies that know that they're having problems, but the tort law is to protect people so that it doesn't continue to happen to other people.
And I see that it's been responsible for a lot of the improvements that have occurred over the course of the last several decades.
And I'm hoping that the museum will be part of the inspiration and education to help these students hold on to their values and pursue social justice work.
Now I understand that it has to do with somebody who's been hurt in some way, and it gives them the right to sue for damages.
The really sad thing about the McDonald's cases, the woman only wanted her expenses paid. She wasn't looking to make anything off of it. And McDonald's wouldn't do it.
Nothing but profit is important. People aren't important. Safety is not important. Life is not important. Money is important.
And they had all the complaints from so many people about the tea being too hot and the coffee being too hot, and they did nothing about it.
And also people have said she was driving the vehicle. And this tells you she wasn't driving the vehicle and that she was sitting in the passenger side and the vehicle wasn't moving. I don't think the general public is aware of that when they make the comments, the negative comments about her. I don't think they're aware of it.
It just gives you an idea of how we started and what happened to people and how they had to suffer and die in order to improve safety and regulations that we all take for granted today.
I mean, everybody's had an encounter with something that they felt was just not right, that somebody ought to do something about that.
It seems like the only way to get big business to do anything is if you sue them and sue them for enough money so it hurts. That seems to be when they actually take action. I think that's sad, but apparently that seems to be a reality.
People sometimes are, I think, scared about going into something they really don't know anything about.
But this is fascinating.
It's easy to understand, and then it makes you want to read more about it.
Oh my God, I think the graphics are fantastic. I had no idea how they were going to be able to portray this, and I just commented to my mom, the graphics are phenomenal.
You know, it's a place I think that's going to ultimately be a gathering spot for, hopefully, a center for this kind of action.
And I think any time that you can gain knowledge about the law and about what it offers to us as the average citizen is more worthwhile than any dollar amount.
My friends, it is our moral obligation to see that this institution is reached from anywhere in the country, because when the website and the connections are done electronically through the internet, it doesn't matter if you are in Alaska, it doesn't matter if you're in New York, Washington, LA, it doesn't matter where you are, you will have access to the museum just as easily as the people who are in the next town in Connecticut. So I invite all of you to search your hearts, search your consciences, and find ways that you can support this museum.